Hey, I was like in the meeting for a while and then I just got kicked out. Sorry about that.
That is a-okay. You are here now. Thank you so much for joining us today. Could
Yeah.
you give the agents on the call a little bio or let us know who you are, how long you've been in real estate, whatever you want to say?
Sure. So I'm Jamie Iannetta. Been in the business since 2017 as a full-time agent. I started off on as a solo agent, thinking I could do everything, and got quickly overwhelmed. So I joined a team for I think 4 years, and then was a solo agent again for a couple of years, and then I joined Impact Group 2 years ago, and recently stepped into the role of director of sales.
Which you are already amazing at.
Thank
Uh,
you.
So, without further ado, today we're going to be diving into events, client events. I want to touch base on successes, maybe failures, what's worked and what's not. So, as we
Sure.
get into it, Jamie, what would you say the ultimate win of a client event is?
So the win really is just having the event. It's nurturing the relationships. It's being able to share yourself, your brand, maybe letting even your family life into the so that your clients and your sphere get to know you a little bit better, see a little different side of you than what they might just see when you're out showing or listing houses for them. It's also about meeting new referrals. That's a huge win. We'll talk a little later about the size of event and who you're inviting and things like that, but you always want to ask for referrals or have your clients bring guests and things like that. So you're building a database constantly. And then enticing other people to want to be a part of that, you know, group that's special to you that gets to come to these events. We want to highlight what we're doing, get people excited about it, and like I said, entice them into wanting to know how do they get to come to these events. And maybe it's that they need to send you a referral or be a business partner, but getting people excited so that they want to be a part, and that so you are top of mind to them anytime that they need an agent or they know someone else who needs an agent. You want to stay top of mind. So that's another win for hosting events, is that you're constantly touching people. If you have something of all different types and sizes, that staying top of mind.
Oh, that is so true. I love that you brought up like it's brand awareness, it's a reminder. And something else you said about reaching out to people throughout the process. It's so funny. We're all supposed to have our 36 touch plan. And in that 36 touch plan, call people 4 times a year, which, if you're anything like me, it's always like, what do I say to them? I don't want to ask for business. Having an event is like the perfect phone call. Like, hey, I just wanted to make sure you saw XYZ. And it takes the scariness out of it. Great point there. So, Jamie, tell me what events have you done that have been the most successful? And then maybe if you feel so vulnerable, share any that have been a balloon pop as well. Oh no. I don't know what's happening to our Zoom. She just got booted again, and I've seen a couple other people get booted. I'm sure she'll be right back on. Sorry, guys. Hi, Janice. And hi, Danny. I love seeing those cameras on. Janice, you're on deck if we have a malfunction.
Oh boy.
Jamie, here she is.
Okay, I don't know what's going on here. I'm getting kicked out. I'm so sorry. I'm
Well,
back.
you know what? I've seen a couple other people go off and then back on. So I hope it is not it could be our connection or something. Sorry.
Okay. No, I'm sorry. I changed rooms. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. I'm back.
Perfect. Okay, so the question we were on, Jamie, was what events have you either hosted or seen that have been most fruitful? And
Sure.
if you don't mind being so vulnerable, maybe sharing any that you or yourself or somebody else has done that have been a bit of a balloon pop.
Oh yeah, no problem. So I feel like because what I said about like what the win is at each event, that is just having it, like every event is a success for you, even if you feel like it's a huge flop. Oftentimes people don't see the problems that you are seeing or feeling yourself. You're embarrassed, you think something didn't go off right. Most of the people don't even realize that. So regardless of what happens, it's still a success. You're still going to have people there, you're still going to connect with them, you're still going to market it all over the place so people think it was great. But as far as like what I feel like has been my most successful and least, I have had very successful movie events. And the cool thing about that is like you're just paying for one big space and then you can just fill it with as many people that can come. So it's not like a per person cost. So that helps a lot because, you know, if you're looking to do something with a certain budget and you can just fill a huge room at one cost, it's easier than a per person price. So my movie events tend to fill the whole theater. I let people bring friends, guests, if they pre-register them and I can get their information. Always do like a fun themed giveaway that has to go along with the movie. If like, say, I remember when the Lion King, like the new actual version of Lion King, not the Disney cartoon version came out, we did that. And we had like cookies with the Lion King on them. And our family wore like Lion King shirts and like different, just cool themed ideas that go along with it. And then we took pictures of everybody and we sent them out and we posted live from there at the event. And it was huge. The whole theater was full, which it's always scary when you first get there and you're like, oh God, what if only 2 rows are full or something like that? But the movie seems to go over pretty well. Also, we had huge success at the Guardians game this past year. So that's a little bit more costly, but if you're on a team or you partner up with some other agents and you rent a space at the game, even if it's a standing room, you know, invite whatever your budget allows. If it's your top 10, or if you can go bigger than that, or you want to invite 5, whatever it is. That was a fun event and a good thing to broadcast and something that people wanted to be a part of and centrally located if you have clients all over the place. So that was fun. I also have great turnouts with like pie giveaways. People just love coming for pies for Thanksgiving, or if you do July 4th pies or whatever. They'll bring their families. When I did around Thanksgiving time, we had like cider and hot cocoa, and my kids made cookies, and families came. We took pictures of them with their pumpkins or pies or whatever, and that's always a good lower budget option. Yes. The one that did not go so well for me was I rented out a patio space at a restaurant in Little Italy, which is a local area here down close to downtown that's a hot spot. And I thought it was going to be like the coolest thing. We did a Thursday night thinking, you know, it's towards the end of the week. I can't remember what time, 5:30 or 6, whatever. And I had vendors there and they helped, you know, provide certain things, and we had giveaways. And this was years ago, but I think I had like 8 people show up and I was expecting like 50. Yes. And I was so embarrassed. I was walking around like, I can't believe this. I don't know what to do. I feel like an idiot. These people must think I'm, you know, I don't have any clients. Like it was so embarrassing for me. But I learned from that like I needed to stop. I needed to get out of my own head and like focus on the people who took the time to come and give them my full attention. And, you know, some of them I even asked, like, would this have been better on a different day? Or do you think more people would have come in a different location? Or, you know, and a lot of them were like, who cares? Like, this is awesome. Thanks for inviting us. And I took pictures that showed like other people in the restaurant so that people thought that I had tons of people there. And
perception is everything.
It was like, people don't know what they don't know. And I posted it all over social media, made it like it was the best thing ever. And my next event was great. So It was a win, even though it felt like a loss at the time.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. And it is so true. I think what perception's everything, especially social media. And as we're trying to build a brand, people don't necessarily care about the nitty gritties, but they see you're doing something. They see whether they were guests at the restaurant or your guests, like it obviously made an impact for your next event.
Right.
Something I didn't send you, Jamie, but I'm curious because you talked about movie and a Guardians game, which are both bigger events, I would say, in a year. How
Yeah.
many events do you typically do in a year?
Well, so this has changed for me over the years, and of course, COVID put a stop to all of this for me. But I would say 1 to 2 bigger events. The movie theater I did not do last year when we did do the Guardians event, but we did other bigger events like Reverse Bold is another really low budget, cool thing to do to get a lot of people involved. If you don't know what that is, instead of you calling out like for Bold, you have people calling in. So you're giving them a reason to call, you're raffling off prizes. They call in for 10 seconds, give you some information. They could even pre-register. They can give the number to friends and family, which is great because then you get new people to add to your database. And then you at the end raffle off whatever, a $50 prize, $100 prize, $300 prizes, whatever is in your budget. You can make it, people will call in for the dumbest things. They'll call in for a car wash. So for real, like it's crazy. So yeah, I mean, that's another big event for us because we have all our agents come together and it's a fun call-a-thon type thing with hundreds of phone calls. But that could be a smaller, low-cost thing for a single agent too. And then we do, like some people do flower giveaways in the fall, moms, some smaller things, or the pie event, which is low budget. I mean, if you spend $8 a pie, and depending on how many people you want to give them to, if you just do your top 10 or you do 20 or whatever you can afford. And you can even have that like at your market center, just use the meeting room and get some cider and make it a big thing. So I think it'll depend on how long the agent's been in the business, how many clients they have, how much they have a budget for. But we probably do 1 to 2 bigger events and then some smaller stuff each quarter.
Sprinkled in almost. And pop buys. I mean, truly, pop buys can be an event as well.
Absolutely. You can make anything into it's all about what you do beforehand to advertise it and what you do after, which makes it an event. It could be a small, like every time I do something, I'm making a thing about it beforehand. I'm taking pictures when we do it so that I can go back and post something afterwards. And then it's like 3 touches instead of 1.
Yes, without a doubt. So, Jamie, we touched on this a little bit, but maybe diving into it a little deeper is how can you make an impact while keeping the budget low? Because if you're not on a team, like sometimes it's intimidating, or you feel like, gosh, I don't want to ask my vendors for a ton. Do you have any advice on what could make a splash or an impact while being more conservative from the cost standpoint?
Yeah, I would say one thing that's really going to make an impact is to tailor the event, to really put some time into this, like tailor this event to you, to your brand, to your clients that you think that you're going to want to invite. Because if it's not a good fit and you feel awkward and they feel awkward, like that's the wrong kind of impact that you want to make no matter what your budget is. Right. So like I don't play golf. I'm never gonna host like a huge golf outing event, whatever. I don't know the first thing about it. So that would be horrible for me. But like I have 3 young kids and we love watching movies. So for me and my clientele, which tends to be a lot of their friends and families and sports families, like that's a perfect thing for me. So really making it fit you, your brand, and the people that you think is the biggest way to make an impact, even if it's a low budget. I get what you're saying about feeling uncomfortable with your vendors, although I would encourage everybody to try to do that, even if it's a small amount. Um, they're a lot of times happy to help. And believe it or not, they don't get asked as much as we all might think that they're getting asked from everybody. Um, so I would try and be creative with who you're thinking of. It's not just title and lender. You could ask the electrician that you recommend or the plumber or your photographer. Um, there's other vendors that you could ask. You can even ask local community businesses. Like
Yes.
people go in all the time and ask, can you just donate a $20 gift card or whatever, so be creative about that. And there's ways to make things budget, do a metro park in your community. It costs $30 to rent it and do a cookout and have everybody bring a dish or something. do, sometimes the community pools will let you rent a space for a low amount and do a big pool party. You could do, like I said, the pies is a low cost item, a flower pot for everybody. And it doesn't have to be 100 people. Pick your top
Yes.
5, pick your top 10, start small, and it'll grow over time.
That is such a good point, and what a great way to save is sometimes we worry so much about going wide when really if you just go deeper and nurture your top 10, your top 25, your top 50, like I think that has just as big of an impact. I
Yeah.
also love, Jamie, when you brought up like tailoring it to yourself and doing something that's more your personality, I think is huge. Um, my husband got licensed a few years ago, and I actually, in doing this class, I was like, hey, is it too late to do our squares again? He is a sports guy. Sports is his language. And the past couple years in a row, and it's been a great hit. We would fill a Super Bowl square board. We spent $500 on it. It was 100 out for the first, second, third quarter, and then 200 on the last. But it was a way to nurture pretty much. I mean, it was 100 people. It was past clients, anybody who sent us a referral, or anyone we thought might send a referral. And you always want two-way communication. Oh, Danny, I will let you know. You always want two-way communication. So we said, if you're interested, please respond. We'll give you a free square. So Danny, the Super Bowl squares where there's like 100 of them, and the way it lines up is whatever the score is at the end of each quarter. If you have those numbers, you win the pot. Yes. And it's silly. Like, I am not a huge sports gal, but my husband is. And so, because he's into it, like, people pick up on that energy too. And it's something you like. You are targeting, you're a mom of 3 kids. I'm sure a lot of the people you're selling to have families. I love it.
Yeah, it's
Such an
awesome.
important piece.
The photos is another thing that is super budget. Like if you take pictures of people while they're at the event, or you have them come do a fall harvest picture or a picture with Santa, or whatever you're targeting, just go get them developed and get like cheap frames from the dollar store or wherever, or get like the cheap canvas prints on CVS.com or wherever Costco or whatever, and send them a photo afterwards. And then that's like another touch. And then you follow up, hey, did you get the gift I sent you? It was great having you here. Just constantly coming back to and retouching as much as you can to drill it into their head that they had fun and they came and it was a great time. And then they're going to start talking about you, or someone's going to see the picture like, oh, that's such a great family picture. Oh my God, my realtor did it at their event. Like,
Yes.
just the dripping is
That's
important.
so good. I noticed I picked up on you saying that with the movies, and I think with something else. I could tell you almost layered your events. Like you had another something special for them there that maybe didn't cost you a ton of money. I think that's
Yeah.
genius. So Jamie, if people on this call are anything like me, just like today when I called my husband and said, is it too late to do Super Bowl squares? I am a very last minute person. How far in advance? What if somebody has a great idea, but it's in a month? Is there any recommendation you would give as far as how far in advance you're planning, or do you just go with it? What would you say there?
So anyone that knows me, I'm a super high C personality.
So
I
we're
will,
opposite.
I cannot fly by the seat of my pants like what you just said. And just in standard life, when you're planning an event, I mean, some things are going to take more time to plan and some things you can wing. Some things you need to book a reservation ahead of time.
Yes.
Some things, it depends on the time of the year or the day of the week. If you're hitting up a time where most families are on a vacation, spring break or something, you might want to let them know way in advance. So I think that's really dependent on what you're doing. If you need to book a room or a theater or a pavilion or the pool, like it depends what their booking schedule is like, how far in advance you'd want to do that. And again, like how elaborate, like I've never done this, but I've seen agents do like very successful, like a New Year's Eve gala. I mean, that's going to take a lot more, could be 6 months of planning,
Yes.
versus let's have a cookout at the community park, it might only take you a few weeks. So that all depends. I would say just give yourself time to think that through so you know how much time you think you're going to need in advance. It's
Mhm.
probably best at the beginning of the year to kind of map out what you think these events or touches might look like so that
That's
you,
a great idea.
yeah, just like you're, booking other things in your calendar in advance, booking vacations, booking things like that. Um, Try and book out what you think events might look like so you know which ones you're going to need to plan ahead of time and which ones you can wing. And
Mhm.
then, you definitely want to start sending, again, just like if you were hosting a birthday party or a wedding or whatever, like you want to send out maybe a save the date if it's a really big event, or, maybe 4 to 6 weeks before you send an invite. And then 3 to 4 weeks before, maybe you're calling or texting or something to make sure they got the invite. And then 2 to 3 weeks out, if they haven't RSVP'd, you're reaching out again. And then maybe you're posting some kind of last minute reminder on social media or in an email or a text. And then the day of, I always send out to anybody who's coming, like, can't wait to see you. We're so excited. Just for that last minute reminder in case they say, oh my God, I forgot the same day my kid was whatever and we totally forgot. That's like the worst because they knew all ahead and they said they're coming and then they don't show at the last second. So I always now send a reminder the day of.
That's a great, great idea. Do you do any other type of mofers to get people in the door? And if you don't know what a mofer is, it's make offer for immediate response.
Yeah, so I would say the mofers is probably just, again, dependent on the event. Like I'm mentioning, if I have a giveaway or we're doing some kind of raffle baskets or prizes, if the event for them is cool because it's no cost, like come see a free movie and bring all your family or bring your next door neighbor. Like I'm making a big deal that it's a free ticket and free popcorn or whatever to the movie. So mention if you're having food and drinks that brings people in, giveaways, prizes, things like that. And just, have excitement around it, even if it's the smallest thing. The more excited you are, the more excited they're going to be.
Absolutely. Um, Tell me a little bit about what happens during the event and how do you feel? So if it is a bigger event, like you did Guardians, do you get overwhelmed with feeling like you've touched base with everyone there? What happens during and how do you be sure you've connected with everyone who comes?
Yeah, so you definitely want to thank everyone for coming, and depending on the environment, like when I did the movies, like before the movie started, I would have everyone quiet down and, stand up and thank them all for coming and being a part of my business. And because of you, I'm able to have events like this. Obviously, you're not going to do that in the middle of a Guardians game, but if you're in an environment where you can, it's definitely important that you stand up and thank everybody for coming. And then mixing and mingling, making everyone feel special. I mean, that's the whole reason you're having the event. You can't forget that, like, it's not about the glitz and glamour and like, oh, I'm so cool, I'm having this event. No, like the event is because you're trying to service your clients and show them that you care and bring them into your world so that they bring you into theirs. So trying to introduce people to other people, making them feel comfortable and connecting with, someone they may have never met is a good way because you really can't talk to everyone the whole time.
Mhm.
So give them someone else to talk to, that you think might be a good fit for them. And then making sure that you have somebody else there that you can depend on to worry about the stuff that you shouldn't be, like,
That's
oh,
great.
we're running out of drinks. Oh, I need more napkins. Oh, have your spouse, your kids, a friend of yours come, a partner agent that you say, even if you're not on a team, like find another solo agent and say, I'm having this event. Can you come help me do this, this, and that? When you have yours, I'm happy to help you. Um, Making partners like that that can help you to handle the things that you don't have time for is important. You don't want people to leave feeling like they didn't even talk to you the whole time. Like, why did I even come to that? She didn't even say hi to me. That is, I mean, I'm sure we've all been to something like that where you were like, well, that was awkward. You don't want to be that person. So make sure that you do, say hi, give a little hug, whatever it is, introduce them to somebody else that they can connect with, and try to ask for referrals if the conversation seems appropriate. You don't want to make it salesy or about that, but it's always good to see if they could have invited somebody else beforehand. If they didn't bring somebody else, let them know, hey, next time, look, so and so brought 3 people. Like, would love to have your friends and family come too next time. It's trying to encourage them to bring more people next time if the event allows for it.
So do you always allow people to bring a friend, bring a buddy, invite whoever you want, so it's more
It depends.
community based, or?
Again, it depends. I mean, if you have specific tickets that you only can have a certain amount of people at something, or you bought 10 pies because you invited 10 people, then no, you don't want extra guests showing up and you can't help them or provide something for them. That would be bad. But if it's like a cookout or a pool party, or like I said, the movie event where we had tons of seats and everybody could come, then absolutely. If their spouse can't come, or so, oh, my husband's gonna be out of town. Okay, bring a friend, bring your neighbor, bring whoever. I
Mhm.
try to do that because then you're just adding more people to your database.
Absolutely. And I feel like every event is almost, what's the goal of this event? And some might be more brand awareness in the community. And that one is a good do the community pool, do the movie theater, invite everyone. And
Mhm.
some of it might be a special nurture to your database. And the win might be they feel exclusive. And, I
Absolutely.
suppose it's whichever direction you want to go and what's the win of your event.
Yeah, I mean, I've had people say that they had great. I've thought about doing these. I haven't yet because I have a hard time narrowing like who to pick and feeling bad about like only certain people got invited. But I know people have had excellent response to like a sip and paint, like wine and paint with a few best clients, 6 people, or like a couples cooking class, where they bring their top 3 or top 5 client with their spouse or whoever and do a small intimate event where they can talk more and really get to know each other.
That's a great idea, especially if your target buyer and seller is maybe that like moving into their forever home, like
Yeah.
a couple's it like, typically that's going to be a married couple or something. I think that's a great idea.
Hmm.
Now, Jamie, what happens after the event? So we've talked about almost like the wins of the event and what you do prior to. What happens after? What connections are made? Tell me what you do to tie a bow on the
So
event.
I like after the best because I mean, we all heard fortunes in the follow up. It is so true. Like you cannot just have this event and then let it go like nothing ever happened. You have to send handwritten notes thanking them for coming, or you make a personalized phone call where you're actually talking to them, thanking them for coming, asking them if they had a good time. Any recommendations for my next event? Make them feel like you care, they're valued, they're a part of it, you want their opinion. I always, like I said before, try and send them home with something, a giveaway, something with my brand on it. Maybe it's, like I said, a decorated themed cookie where we had like a tag with my business label on it, or you do a golf thing, you do golf balls with your logo sticker on the box, or I've had people do beach balls made with their KW logo from a pool party. Or you do that cheap picture frame or something, and you take the picture there and tell them, here's the frame. I'll send you the photo in the mail in a week, whatever. You tailor to the event, but you always are sending them off with something, doing that thank you call, handwritten note, and social media. I mean, if you're not using social media to blast this out that you had this great event and show pictures, and even possibly some of my events I went live at the event just to build up that excitement, get people to want to have been there, tag your guests in the post so it shows on their page that they were there, ask them to share it on their page. It's a great way to friend people on Facebook if they're not already your friends. You can mention like, oh, I'm going to have stuff about the event on there, can I connect with you on Facebook? But definitely there's a lot of touches afterwards that tie that bow.
Absolutely. I love to go dive into your going live. Um, I think so many people are scared to actually go live, myself included. I will do a video all day long and, until I get it just like I want it. But going live is like, oh, it's so vulnerable. So what's it look like when you go live, or what's the point? Do you just say, hey, we're here?
Yeah,
Like,
I
is
mean,
it
sometimes
30
it's a
seconds you do
reminder.
it?
Yeah, sometimes I do it like as a reminder, as that reminder beforehand, like don't forget, we're having this event today at blah 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 time. Can't wait to see you there. Sometimes it's while I'm at the event. If I have a huge turnout, like the full movie theater, like I will show that my whole theater's filled. Like for those of you who couldn't make it, we miss you. Can't wait to see you next time. For those of you who weren't invited that want to be a part of this, reach out to me. I'd love to add you to my list. it's quick. It's 15 seconds showing people the excitement, making them want to be a part of that group.
That's so good. And I also love the sending them away with something. And I think even back to that 36 touch plan we talked about, once people start to get accustomed to you are having events, whether it's small or whether it's big, the phone call after could even be like, thank you for coming. Here's what to expect in March. Here's
Yeah,
our next event. Like,
definitely.
and it gets them excited and waiting for like, oh, what's she have going on this time?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I love that. Um, Jamie, there have been just like lots of little nuggets of value. What parting advice would you give to somebody who hasn't done an event yet? They want to touch base with past clients, etc. What's a good starting off point, or what advice would you do for a foolproof event?
Well, my first thing would be Nike, just do it. It's scary, it sucks. The first time is like really uncomfortable, and you're not growing unless you're uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Um, so just plan something big or small and do it. Get the help, enlist your friends, your family, let people in, let them see that your friends and family are helping you and love you and are encouraging your business. And think about your budget, think about your brand, what's going to fit for your clientele. And just have fun with it. Have fun with it. Use it to your advantage. Post all about it. Let people know. Bring them in. Let them want to be at the next thing. Always try and get referral business out of it. You're trying to grow your business. We all are. So, while you've got people around, make sure that they know that you're looking to stay in business long term, and any help they can provide you, you'd appreciate.
That's so good. And one of my favorite things you said today was making it about them, not about you.
For
And
sure.
it's so, if you can start with that in mind, I think it will always be a success.
Definitely.
Awesome. Jamie, thank you so very much. I
Thanks for
greatly
having me.
appreciate
If any of you have questions or need tips or more anything I said, reach out anytime. I'm happy to
Will
help.
you put your info in the chat?
I will. And heads up, my dogs are going to start barking because my husband just pulled in the driveway with my kids.
Needs to happen.
My email,
Perfect.
my number.
Thank you so very much, Jamie. I appreciate you, your time pouring into us today, and you all have a great rest of your day.
Yes. Have a good week, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye bye.